Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another anime review. And today I'd like to discuss the first episode of the latest Digimon series, Digimon Ghost Game, which I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even know this series was coming out so soon. The first episode aired this past Sunday, October 3rd, and the week before that, Digimon Adventure 2020 concluded its run, and I thought for sure they would take a 6-month to year-long hiatus before this series started airing, but they're going all in with October, Halloween, and spooky season because, well, this is actually a horror-themed anime, and a lot of spooky stuff in the first episode. If I was a kid watching this, I'd probably be having nightmares, and just because of the imagery and the voice acting, the screams, and the laughter of the villain. A lot of crazy stuff there, but we'll get into that in a minute. I want to start off by saying that really over the past 5 or 6 years, Digimon has seen a revitalization in the franchise with its video games, although where the hell is Digimon Survive? I mean, that game was supposed to come out back in like 2019, but keeps getting delayed. God damn. Like, there's been a few video games out there. We had the Digimon Adventure Try miniseries movie thing. You know, they said it was movies, 6 or 7 movies, but you sort of watch it as episodic format, so, you know, it was okay. You know, some people really like it, some people don't like it so much, but I like the depth it adds to the characters as they've aged more in the series, bringing back the original cast. A lot of people don't really like it because, you know, 02 isn't really incorporated in it whatsoever. You know, they're just kind of off screen, which sucks. But, you know, that was the start. And then we had the fantastic movie, Digimon Last Evolution Kizuna, which came out in, I want to say, 2018 or 2019, and was a perfect send-off to the original cast, particularly Tai and Matt, or Taichi and Yamoto, if we want to use the Japanese names. And, you know, I watched the dub. I prefer the dubs, to be honest with you. But just having the original voice cast come back was great. And even getting the cameos from the 02 cast was awesome. And I wonder if they're going to do a reboot of 02, sort of like how they did Adventure 2020, which, as we know, just concluded. And that was great seeing that. You know, the first 2 episodes were also really, really fun, having the whole reboot of our war game and having Omnimon in, like, the first 3 episodes. But I haven't seen it all the way through. I've seen a few episodes here and there. Now that it's concluded, it'll be easier to binge watch, and at some point I'm hoping they'll dub it and bring back the original voice cast, which they did for the movie a few years ago, so that'll be cool. So anyway, you know, Digimon Ghost Game, which is going to air every Sunday. I think it's on Crunchyroll, so you can find it there. You can find it on all the anime sites you use, which I know y'all do, and it's a beautiful thing. So you saw in the little opening I showed you there, you got the 3 main characters, and you get cameos from the other 2, the boy with the bandages on his arm, and then the girl. They sort of cameoed here, but it mostly follows the main protagonist. His name is Hiro. But before we get into him, it starts off, I guess, in present day. There's like all these text messages going off. They're talking about this hologram ghost that's going around stealing time from people, and he's described as the man with the sewn mouth or something like that. And you know, eventually this little girl in school or whatever makes her way into this abandoned auditorium, and it goes completely pitch black in there, and her phone starts acting up, and like sounds like she's getting a million text messages, alarms, all this crazy sound, and then all of a sudden you hear this sinister laughter, and I gotta tell you, dude, genuinely creepy. And all of a sudden the sewn mouth man shows up, which is really Clockmon, the Digimon, and he's like, "Your time is mine, your time is mine," and it's really some creepy shit here. He like has this hammer, and he bopped her over the head with the hammer and starts straining like her energy and literally her life force, her time. And you see the little girl like ages to an old lady, and all the while she's got this terrifying scream, and he's laughing like a madman. And well, let me see if I can show you a picture of Clockmon, because Clockmon has actually been a Digimon before in the series. I don't think in the original series, but in the video games or something here. Let's see, because my face is in the way there. But that's Clockmon right there. If we can get a big picture, there we go. And you see, you know, he looks kind of cartoony and all that, but as we go down here, this is the picture of him in the Ghost Game anime, and you see he's sort of like a hologram, you know, because he's a digital monster. And just look at his face there, like totally creepy, dude. And just you gotta watch the episode, his laugh with the Japanese voice acting going on there, and just really, really creepy. So he's going around sucking the souls, essentially, from all these people, adding them to his collection. And just like when he makes the entrance, everyone's, because they're Digimon, they're digital monsters, everyone's electronic devices go off the rails. They start beeping, alarms, text messages, all this crazy stuff. So then it cuts to Ken and his friend Nomura, who are having lunch or whatever, at their junior high school, and you got a funny little bit of Nomura like, oh, send me your homework, please, you know? And of course, the kid sends him his homework, and he's like, oh, don't copy it word for word now. And we meet the other main character, which they didn't name. They said his name was either the dorm master or just senpai. Like, when they're in school, it's dorm master, but when they're outside of school, it's senpai. And he's the one you saw in the OP there with the bandaged arm, which, you know, he's going to eventually get his Digimon, too. And also, before all this, too, we meet the other little girl who you saw in the intro. Her name is Ruli, and she's with her friends gossiping about the Sewn-lip man, like, ooh, the urban legend, spooky! So, all this goes on, and then, you know, it goes to the next day, and Hiro wakes up, and he's making his dad breakfast, and he's knocking on his dad's door. And he goes in there because there's no answer, and he sees, you know, where his dad is, the computer is gone, and there's like you know, an indent in the ground almost. Not a hole or anything, but like just an indent for his chair is completely vanished, and it's like steaming. There's like smoke rising, so he's like, what the hell happened to my dad? He's vanished. So eventually it cuts to the police showing up, and they're like, well, he's missing now. Where's your mother? And he's like, oh, my mother's in another country for work or whatever. So, you know, some crazy shit there of his dad disappearing, but it all makes sense later. So more time passes, and they're talking about the Sewn-lip man. With Hiro's talking about it with Nomura, and they're trying to figure out the urban legend, and Nomura's like, oh, let's go where that girl was last seen. Let's see if we can find him. So they make their way there like idiots, evading all the caution tape saying, keep out. And they make their way in there, and then their phones start going off the fritz, and you hear the maniacal laughter again from Gammamon, and, well, he's there just wreaking havoc, and he goes after Nomura first, bops his head, steals the time from him, and you see, like, just the scene of him turning from the young boy to, like, this old man, his nails grow really long, like, really creepy imagery there, and definitely well done, definitely in tune for October and spooky season here, and, you know, Hiro manages to escape because Nomura's getting his life force drained away first, so Hiro's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, screw that kid. He runs away and makes his way out, and they're all talking to him. He's telling the story, and they're like, oh, you're crazy, kid, there's no such thing. But it's like all these people keep vanishing, so obviously there's some validity to it. So he makes his way home, and then he finds like this, it's almost like, I guess like an Apple Watch or whatever, right? It's cool to see how the Digivices have evolved over the years, because, you know, in the original you had the Digivice, which sort of looked like a Nokia phone almost, and then they sort of advanced, and I think in the movie Last Evolution Kizuna, they had their Digivices connected to their smartphone, so now they have the Apple Watch Digivice, and he puts it in, and he's putting like all that, like the SD card into the Digivice, and here's his father. And his father's in the digital world. And he's like, oh, Hiro, everything's fine here, but you're going to meet your new friend, your little brother, Gammamon. So Gammamon shows up, and he's the latest Digimon. I think this is his first appearance ever. And I'll show you a picture of him on the Wikipedia page right there. So he's a cute little guy. That's his, I think, rookie form, right? So it's not the baby form quite yet. And, yeah, he's the Digimon for Hiro there. And he hasn't digivolved quite yet, but he appears, and he's so cute. I'm Gammamon, and just his little voice there. And as they're meeting each other, you know, they sort of figure out he can appear in the translucent holographic form that Gammamon appeared. But when Hiro plugs in his Digivice, puts like the SD card in there, he appears to materialize in the real world and like jumps on him and bites his leg. And there's a cute little scene there, seeing the little Digimon there. And then as all this is going on, all the electronics start going off the fritz again, and Gammamon makes his appearance because, you know, when Hiro escaped, you saw Gammamon in the background like, oh, your time will be mine eventually. And he makes his way here and is starting to attack. And then this battle scene between Gammamon and Gammamon reminds you of the original Digimon Adventure OVA, you know, with Greymon and Parrotmon fighting in the city, because the two of them start fighting in the city, and they're just going at it. So in the midst of the battle, Gammamon uses his, you know, time-draining power and traps Gammamon, and Gammamon starts getting his energy drained, but Hiro has the idea to, wait, if everything's time will enhance, let me throw this tree branch. So he throws this tree branch in the way, and it grows, you know, into a giant tree, and that stops Gammamon from getting his energy drained, and then, like, something lights up on his Digivice, and gives him energy, and it gives Gammamon enough power to use his attack. And so he calls it like the bear claw or something. And he attacks Gammamon, and defeats him. Doesn't necessarily kill Clockmon because Clockmon escapes in the end, but is able to do damage. And then Gammamon's like, yeah, we got to work together. I'm your little brother. And it was a cute little scene there. So after, the battle ensued and he dealt the damage to Clockmon, because you can see he's all beat up. His form there is that he is a clock. I mean, let me show you again just for reference. So here's like the old school form. See, like his body there is a clock. And he damages the clock. And then it cuts to all the people in the hospital who had their life force drained, and they turn back to normal, so that's good. And it ends like that. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode, and then we got the credits and the preview for the next episode, which they talk about the mummy Digimon, and there's like a mummy haunting the museum. So I wonder if every episode here is going to follow the theme of, a scary Digimon like that, and how they're going to keep going with that, and then what the overall plot's going to be in the end, because with the original Digimon series, I'm most nostalgic for that. I mean, I've seen the first 3 Digimon series, Adventure, 02, and then Digimon Tamers. And they all follow like a cohesive story and sort of aren't the Monster of the Week episodes. They kind of start out the Monster of the Week, but as it goes along, it's more of a cohesive story. So I wonder what the overall plot's going to be, who the big bad's eventually going to be, and how everyone's going to meet. Because so far, the girl, she's separate from the 2 guys. The other dude who's in the intro there with the bandaged arm, he's a little bit older than Hiro, and they called him the senpai. So maybe we'll meet him next time because, he's got the wrapped arm sort of like the mummy. So I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thought in the comments down below. I'm going to be watching this series every week and giving my thoughts on each episode. And I hope you guys stay tuned and watch and share your thoughts if you're watching along as well. And also, real quick, I wanted to show this off. I didn't want to show it off in the beginning of the video to scare everyone away. But my friend Justin, he has a great channel, I'll link it down below. He reviews comics and reviews movies and things like that. For Halloween month, when he reviews his comics, he has this pumpkin in the background. And I swear to God, we have the same exact pumpkin because I was putting up my Halloween decorations the other day. And here it is right here. So Justin, if you're watching this, is this the same pumpkin? Because this lights up, but the battery is kind of dead. You can see, but there's a faint light in there. And I know you said yours lights up too. So I thought that was cool, getting the Halloween decorations out. And, we had the same one. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thought in the comments down below. And see you next time. Have a great day.